Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have a new video for you in the new tank line, the European line. This is the Tier 7 P.43 ter, or pair. We're going to have a look at the tech spec, and we're going to have a look at that in blitzhanger.com. And this is a European tank, and this is an Italian tank. So it is very welcome indeed, a good new tank, something different, which is great to see. Like its predecessor, it's very similar in many characteristics. If you use Cinnamon, it maxes out the view range, also gives you slightly faster reload, which helps. So I'm going to set it up using Cinnamon as a provision. There are two 90mm guns available. You need to get the top gun for the extra pen for heavies, because it's a tier 7. You're going to be up against some big heavies with some big frontal armor. 165mm of pen on your normal AP rounds, giving you 225 to 280 alpha rolls. 6.15 second reload, which is decent, but it's 2 seconds slower than some tier 7 meds, so just be aware of that if you're in a brawl. You need to max muzzle velocity with supercharges, it's low, and even when you max it out, it's still less than 1,000 meters per second at 980, so be aware of that. You get 195mm of pen on your APC or, and you get 45mm of pen on your HE. Just have a look at how we use the equipment here. You can pause it if you want to take notes. Now, the gun on this, as is with its predecessor, is patchy because it has low muzzle velocity and short stubby gun. It also has 7 degrees of gun depression, 20 degrees of elevation, same speed, 50 kilometers an hour forward, 20 in reverse as its predecessor. It has similar characteristics to its predecessor, but a few different things. Power to weight ratio is much better. Traverse is still very good, and its concealment numbers are better. So we mentioned that its tier 6 predecessor has just okay concealment numbers. This has good concealment numbers, so they're very good, and this allows you to spot and scout. And if you max out your view range using Cinnamon, it is a very effective scout wagon, very effective for spotting up the enemy and helping your teammates. Now we're going to add in the external modules here so we can have a look. You can see that see the gun elevation, depression in action. Let's have a look at its relative armor numbers if you were to side scrape in it. Decent on the turret, decent on the sides. It also has a bit of spaced armor on the side. At the back, as you can see, not so much as its predecessor, so don't rely on that to deflect HE or heat rounds. You're a big enough target on the sides and back for that. So take note of that. It's different to its predecessor. The spaced armor is very small at the back, so it's not going to offer you the same level of protection as you had in its predecessor. So please be aware of that. You're very vulnerable at the butt. If you're up tiered and there's a Rim Borsig or something, or an SU-152 or an ISU-152 in your own tier, be aware, because he will maybe even one-shot you with a round into your butt. You've almost no armor. But on the front, you've got some decent enough armor. You will get some bounces, and you have a strong turret. You can see here when you are when you're top tier, tier 6s are going to have difficulty penning you front on, except for the lower plate. And even when you're up tiered, you can see there when we look at a tier 8, still the top piece of armor and the turret are difficult to pen. In terms of tactics, like its predecessor, it's decent medium tank, but it's not spectacular. It's not great at any one thing. It also has that low muzzle velocity. So therefore, in terms of tactics, what I would do is I would play this tank as your standard medium tank by the numbers. Get out, spot, scout, use those excellent concealment numbers and the maxed view range with Cinnamon, spot up the enemy for your allies, and then arm, assess, reassess and move. Use the speed of this tank to get around the map, to manipulate the map, and to get your gun into the game. You need to be aware, like its predecessor, because it has the low muzzle velocity, that deflection shooting and tracking shots are a bit more difficult in this. But as you've played the tank before it with the same characteristics, by the time you get to this, you should be familiar with the gun handling, and therefore be able to, without even thinking, make allowances to make sure more shots hit. So let's have a look at some gameplay. We're going to have a look at Desert Sands, and we're going to have a look at the Supremacy game. So as always, check the setup. Check the number of fast movers, meds and lights in the other team. And I think that because of this, we are going to go to A, and we're going to try to spot it out, scout it out, and then we will try to cap if possible. You can see here from a stop start, the tank takes off very well. It has good power to weight ratio. As we said, it's better power to weight ratio than its predecessor, so you'll find it a bit more agile than its predecessor, which is always welcome in a medium tank. We are going to go to the airplane here, use it as cover, and see if we can spot up. And here we go, our first customer has arrived. Going back into cover here. Is he going to come? No, he's decided better. But we have another customer who's just checked in at Hotel Pants, and we are going to roll backwards down here and give him a nice greeting. You can see here, nice shot, short range. It's not a problem. The muzzle velocity is not such a big issue, as we are only firing over a short distance. Get a reload on, and we're going to put another round into him, and we clear him off. Now back up, we're going to angle, so we want our frontal armour and our turret facing onto the Cromwell B. He's a tier lower, so we're confident we can push on. We're trusting in our armour. We'll push on, and we're going to put another round into him here. 7 degrees of gun depression is enough. He's soft armour at the sides. We don't need to worry about aiming too much. We know it's going to pen at that short distance, even through the side of the Cromwell. Rolling back, and that's what we're talking about on the armour. As he's lower tier, he doesn't have such high pen numbers as if he was a tier 7 medium tank, so therefore we are confident and we get that bounce, and that is the armour that we saw in effect in the tech spec coming into play in real time. Now that was a perfect start to the game for a medium tank. We spotted, we scouted, we captured the base in the light to medium tank channel, and now we're in a position to flank. So here we go, put a nice round into that IS here, get out of town before he can do some more damage to us. We're going to move around, we're going to go for a full flank now. Another customer, here we are, pop one into him, low alpha roll on him. We're going to get another low alpha roll coming up as well. See here, going low alpha roll again on the IS. And that's RNG in action. You know, you get 2 low rolls, and then the next roll that comes up is 244. So anyway, we cleared off the IS. Took one for our troubles, but you know, it's worth it. Take another one here as we go into position. But now it's about speed. It's 3-2. We need to remove this tank. So as I conserved my hit points earlier on, I'm happy to shed a few hit points to take this guy out. And just slow this down so we can have a look at the maneuverability of this tank, because the Arl, although it's turretless, is a fast moving, agile TD with a very, very good traverse speed. You can see though, this tank, it has the power to weight ratio to get around in the sides and then in behind, and finally we clear him off. We've done a lot of damage now already, and we have another customer here. You can see though, this is what I mean about the short barrel of the gun. If that was a Panther or something, that round would have hit. We've a slightly less reliable gun handling, and you can see that in action there. But now we're popping it around into him. We want to avoid his big gun. We're going to pop around into the turret there. As you can see, no problem, AP round through the turret of the KB3, which is a tough cookie, even if it's on the side or back. Put a round into him, and now it's just a teasing game. See if we can get him to fire a round. He is distracted by my ally. I come in and get the final kill. As you can see, normal AP round through the lower plate, not a problem, even on the heavily armoured KV3. So there we are. I think this delivers a mastery badge in this game as well, and you can see just how effective this tank is. And it played a standard medium tank role there. We did 3.2k damage, 4 kills, and 1.14k of XP, which delivers the mastery badge. But you can see there how effective it can be playing a medium tank role. Medium tank role, assess, reassess, move. So we went at the start, we spotted, we scouted, cleared off the enemy meds, totally cleared and secured that flank, captured the base, and then we come in to help our heavies, and we flank around using the speed and agility of that tank to cause all sorts of damage, to wreak havoc in behind the enemy. And we deliver their high caliber, top gun, mastery badge, master gunner, and sharpshooter. All very welcome. And they are also, those badges demonstrate what I was talking about earlier, that you become more familiar with the gun handling of this as you've played it more or less the same gun in tier 6. So when you move up to tier 7, you are better and you're able to secure then sharpshooter badges, etc. So let's have a recap. Like its predecessor, exciting new tank in a new line, well thought out by Wargaming and well welcomed by us. Solid medium tank, well balanced. Not spectacular or anything, but it's well balanced and decent performer. 90mm gun is okay. 6.1 effective second reload is better than its predecessor, which is over 7 seconds, but it's still patchy. 165mm of pen on AP, 195mm on APCR with 45mm on HE. Power to weight ratio is much better than its tier 6, and traverse remains very good, so it is a decent brawler, especially with that armour. It handles well, gets around the map easily, as you saw there, covered a lot of the map in that game. I would recommend using Cinnamon to max the view range, and that also helps to maximise the effect of those good concealment numbers. Good handling is okay, but please be aware of the low muzzle velocity, especially when firing over distance. Strong turret and front armour, and the spaced armour at the back is less than its predecessor. Just be aware of that. It's not going to give you the protection that you had in tier 6. Plays the medium tank role well. Medium tank play by numbers, being the CPU of the team, and arm assess reassess move. Fast, 50 km per hour, allows you to scout and spot, and if you use cinnamon provisions you can do that very effectively. So all round a decent tank, I think. The rate of fire is lower than many of its peers though, so be aware of this, especially if you come up against a T23 E3 or something like that, or a T43. They're really going to out rate of fire you, so be aware of that when brawling. You need to really use your armour. But overall, solid medium tank, something new, something good and fun to play, and welcome from Wargaming. And the great thing about this tank is that it leads up to the next tank, tier 8, which is a really spectacular tank, one I really enjoy playing. So the music was Vivaldi, it's Spring from the Four Seasons, Quattro Stagioni, a great piece of music, and Italian, so I thought it was very apt. Cheers Mush, thanks for watching, and I guess all remains for me to say is, pants off.